Hi, I'm Peter at GardenWorks, and today we're going to talk about plants for different light conditions. Probably the most often asked question in the garden center would be, where do you have your plants for low light? So low light is probably the most commonly sought after plant. My favorite tropical for low light would be an Aglaonema or Chinese evergreen. This is a beautiful example. There are so many varieties of this Chinese evergreen, dark green ones, lighter green ones, and a general rule of thumb when you're looking for a plant for low light, look for the more green in the plant. You'll notice that most of the plants for low light have lots of green, which is high chlorophyll, which allows them to absorb lots of light. My second most favorite plant for low light would be a Spathiphyllum or white peace lily. This is a white peace lily, and my tip for white peace lilies are that when it starts to droop slightly, that is the time to water it. Don't overwater a peace lily. Number 3 on my list of favorites would be the ZZ palm or Zamia palm. It is really amazingly adaptable to low light. So in fact, they'll even grow in quite a dark location. However, if the plant is in a low light, the leaves tend to get long and straggly. So give it a bit of light to make it a really nice, compact, more healthy plant. But low light, ZZ palm. The next one, you'll see these everywhere, especially in shopping malls. Low light extraordinaire. These plants are called mother-in-law's tongue where I come from. Here we call them snake plants. And its proper name is a Sansevieria, and again there are so many different varieties of Sansevieria available. This has a beautiful golden color in it, but you'll also get dark green ones with speckle. There's so many, and you'll probably see them growing nice and tall. They can get, probably 6 feet tall, and again a great low light plant, great for a corner of the room which doesn't get any light. And another tip for this guy, don't overwater it as well. They can take really arid conditions, so leave it to completely dry out between waterings. Test it before you go to water it, and then give it a good soak, and then leave it again. The last one on my top 5 plants for low light would be the Dracaena, and there's lots of varieties of these. This is compactor, so it's great in a small pot on your desk, but there are also varieties that get quite large in the house, up to 6 to 8 feet tall. Some of them have very wide leaves, and some of them have narrow leaves. This is really nice plant for low light, Dracaena. The next light condition I'm going to talk about is medium light. So a room that has possibly a west-facing window, but you're going to be planting or putting your plant in a far corner. It's getting light, but it's not getting direct light. So my number 1 would be the Monster, the Monstera deliciosa, or Swiss cheese plant it's also called. Bear in mind that when you grow these plants, they are a vining plant, so think about getting yourself a moss pole. These moss poles would be planted with the plant, and then you just train it to go up the moss pole. This really cool one is actually bendable too, so you can make it not a direct, straight, upright moss pole. My number 2 plant for medium light would be a croton. Not to be confused with croutons you put in your salad, a croton. This is a great plant for medium light. They get fairly large, and they will branch out and form a fairly established shrubby sort of plant in your home. Put it in a corner that doesn't get direct sunlight, and no, you do not want to put it in the dark. Number 3 would be the Dieffenbachia. This one is a fairly poisonous one, so be careful. It's called dumb cane because the sap in it can cause your vocal cords to get a little bit seized up. Lovely plant. They also get fairly large. In a container, as you pot it up, it would get probably about 2 feet tall, beautiful speckled leaves, and many different varieties of these, from these beautiful white speckled ones to dark greens. So Dieffenbachia or dumb cane. The next plant for medium light I'm going to talk about is Calathea, prayer plant. You get them in lots of different varieties. Lots have speckled leaves. Some of them have the pink stripes. Lots of different varieties. Some of them, the leaves close up like a prayer. That's why it's called prayer plant. Some of them actually roll up in the evenings and actually close up, protecting themselves in the evening. Great plant. Be careful not to overwater them, and they also do not like to get crispy dry. So keep them moderately moist constantly. And the last plant for medium light would be a peperomia. Peperomiums are really great for a little office, like on your desk. Small containers. They tend to get wider as opposed to tall. They do put up little odd shoots like this with flowers, and that is actually the flower. It's a little spathe kind of spike. They have a lot of moisture in their leaves. They are quite fat, almost like a succulent, so they have lots of moisture in the leaves, so don't overwater these guys. They would actually benefit by letting them sag slightly before you water them. They're nice and crispy now. You can see how they're quite turgid, but once they start to lose moisture, they will relax. That's the time to water them. Give them a good soak and then leave them until they're dry again. And now let's talk about plants for nice, bright, sunny locations in your home. So this would probably be a room that has nice big windows that face south or west, probably, an afternoon sun. Strelitzia nicolai, a beautiful big plant. It's banana palm, some people call it, but it gets large, so you need lots of space. It's going to get 6 to 8 feet in the home, probably bigger if you let it. My number 2 plant for bright lights, bright locations, would be the Ficus laurata. This is a sort of a smaller leafed variety. There's some that get giant leaves. This one is a columnar one. Bright light. Be careful not to overwater these guys. They do like to dry out between waterings, and then give them a nice good soak, but don't let them stand in water. They do not like that. Great plant for a nice bright location, and they do get quite large, up to 8 feet, 8 or 9 feet. Another great plant for a bright location, and this would be perfect on your coffee table. This has been bonsai'd, but it's Ficus retusa. I know it as Ficus nitida. Beautiful plant, and you can see they've let this one get quite old and gnarled, so it has that bonsai look. Great plant for a bright location in your home. Here's one that everybody would know. It's a succulent plant, aloe. This is aloe vera, great for cuts and burns. Break off a piece and rub it on your injury. So bright light, great plant for very bright light in direct sunlight. You can put it outside in the summer months, bring it in for the winter. They can get quite large, so give it lots of space as it grows. Pot it up. Aloe vera. So staying with those sort of dry, drought-tolerant plants would be cactus. Here is a little bunny-eared cactus. Opuntia is its proper name. And then one of my favorites is the barrel cactus, a beautiful plant. These get large, and as they grow, pot them into a slightly bigger pot using a cactus and succulent mix, and they will get quite large. Barrel, describing its shape, bright sun, direct sunlight. I would put that outside, to be honest, in the summer months. If you have a spot for it, put it in a nice sunny spot and it'll be really happy. Talking about plants and different light conditions and light requirements of plants, it would be remiss of me not to talk about additional lighting. You can get light bulbs with broad spectrum lighting for plants at our garden center, and what it is basically going to augment your light. Think about it. Your plant that is in medium light in the summer months is going to become low light in the winter months, and a plant that is in low light in the summer is going to turn into almost no light in the winter. So think about adding a bit of light to your plant by getting one of these full spectrum light bulbs and hanging it over your plant. This one comes with a handy little clipper, so you can fit it onto it. You'll only need it in the winter months, so something that's just a temporary fix over the winter. I hope you enjoyed my segment today. For more tips and advice, please subscribe to our YouTube channel.